Welcome to another episode of Community Chat. My name is Kevin Tocci, and I will serve as your host for this program. We will be running a series of these shows featuring candidates that will be on the Abington town ballot coming up in just a couple of weeks. But we want to give you an opportunity to meet some of the folks who are on the ballot who are looking for your vote. The primary race that is on the ballot happens to be Board of Selectmen. There are 3 candidates for 2 positions. Joining us today, we have Mr. Roger Woods. He is one of those candidates. Roger, welcome to Community Chat.
Kevin, thanks for having me.
For those who may or may not know who you are, we never want to exclude those folks who might be new to the community, maybe new to voting in Abington. Kind of give us a little brief introduction into yourself.
Well, I'm 60 years old, and I think my title now is Girl Dad because I'm the father of a 4-year-old, my first child at age 56. So I think that's probably my most important description. Grew up in Abington. We moved here when I was 4. I'm the oldest of 6. Went through the schools, graduated Massasoit, graduated Bentley, and decided to stay. So that's basically me. Emily and I are raising our little girl.
Okay. You previously was a member of the Board of Selectmen many moons ago, but you haven't held that position in some time. Why did you decide to run?
Good point. Actually, I was a selectman 30 years ago. I ran in 1994 and served 6 years, did 2 terms. And I think now, I was 29 years old when I was elected the first time. Now I'm a 60-year-old running again, and I think you have a different perspective at age 60 than you do at age 29. A lot of things that didn't seem to be important at 29 are now vitally important at 60. I grew up in town. I have a small business in town. I've been here, like I said, for 56 years. So there's a lot of things that I think we need to address, a lot of things I think we need to do, and that's what's brought me back into it.
Okay. When you decided to run and pull your nomination papers, how quickly did you return them?
It's funny. Originally I was not a candidate. And what happened was, as time went on, I've always been involved in, what's going on in town, charity work and trying to help people out and things like that. And my business is in town. But it didn't seem that anybody was stepping up to come forward. A lot of people had pulled papers, no one had turned their papers in. And I think it was around the end of February, and the deadline is in March, no one had turned in their papers. And I actually had a lot of people saying, you should get back to it. You're always involved. You're always helping people. And we need some serious people is actually what was said to me on many occasions. So I decided to not be on the sideline talking about it, decided to throw my hat in the ring.
It's being forecasted that there could be a shortfall for fiscal year 2026 in town, which could lead to either cuts or maybe even layoffs. If you have any say or voice in this, where would you like to see the funding come from? Would you be in favor of a Prop 2.5 override?
I am not in favor of a prop override for operating budgets. So as all of us have to do, we have to live within our means, and I think we need to, I'll be honest, I think we need to level fund the budgets immediately other than contractual obligations. I think we need to do that. One of the things I think we need to do as a town, we need to do as a board, as elected officials, is I think we need to be a little more proactive for the townspeople rather than reactive. We seem to be reacting to this, we need to get out in front of things. We know we're going to have a problem. We should already be addressing it. And that's one of the things I'm definitely going to do.
And I ask this question because the Board of Selectmen don't make the financial decisions. But in the end, when it comes to the final warrant and you go into the articles, there is a vote that is taken. Again, the Finance Committee does a fantastic job in being able to put these budgets together, talking to departments and figuring out, the final number that's going to be presented at town meeting. But again, the selectmen have a role in it by approving or not approving or passing over certain articles. That's why that question was put towards you.
No, and I think most people know, and I think everyone needs to know, because I don't think it's expressed enough. We have a strong town manager form of government in the charter. The selectmen's role is really, we're policymakers. We're not the ones to be sticking our nose in the day-to-day business, but we're the selectmen, we're the elected officials representing the people in town. So we need to have a say in what goes on. You need to work with the town manager. We have very hard-working finance committee that I think do an excellent job every year. Countless hours, and the same with all of our department heads. Everybody needs to get every dollar they can get for their department, but you need to get them in the room and say, listen, this is the reality of the financial situation, and you work with them, you work with the finance committee and the town manager, and you make your recommendations. You go to town meeting, as we did the other night. We had a $67 million budget. I don't think there was a whisper about the budget. It went right through, because everything's okay now. Next year's going to be a different story. Hard decisions are going to have to be made. I think we need serious people to do it.
Trash and waste were the major drivers for this budget that was passed that you're talking about. For fiscal 26 and beyond, should there be a user fee discussed, or should we just stay with the current system? What's your opinion?
I'll tell you, most towns around have a user fee. I'm not for the user fee, but I respect that we're going to go to town meeting and present it. Now, the other night they had a question to set up the account, and it was resoundingly shot down. I think part of what happened the other night is people aren't aware of it. One of the things we need to do, and I'm not trying to get off that question, I'll answer it for you. We need to be more upfront, more transparent about what's going on. Not when it happens. We should be out there right now saying, listen, we have budget problems next year. I think the only time it came up was a town meeting that people said we're facing budget problems next year. We should already be talking about it in the meetings. We should have it out there so people understand what's coming, rather than waiting till the night of town meeting next year to make these cuts or whatever needs to be done. In regard to the trash, I think it should be in the tax bill as it's been. And I'll be honest with you, if they go to a user fee, I think that we should adopt something where homeowners over 70 don't have to pay. One of the things, and I'm not trying to get off topic, the taxes are getting ridiculous in town. I understand we need all these things, but the people that are retired on fixed income, they can't live here. They can't live, they have to sell. Now, and that isn't how it is in every town. If we're going to have a town where you're going to say, oh, you're going to hit a certain age, you're not going to be able to afford to live here, you have to go, that's not the town I'm looking to have. We need a balance. And those people already paid for everything. When I was a kid, we didn't have to pay to play sports. We didn't have to pay for this or do that. Those people are the ones that paid to help us. They, build school, build whatever they had to build. We have to do something to help, the people that are retired on fixed incomes as well. But to answer your question roundabout, I'm not for a user fee. I think it should be in the taxes.
Okay. Now that Weymouth, Rockland, and Abington have approved another new master developer at the Naval Air Station, the former Naval Air Station, what do you feel is the best use of the parcel of land that the town has? Now, I'm sure that there's already been discussion, there's already been discussions as how it should be best used, and that might be something that's locked in. Not sure if it could be changed, but should it stay as developed as residential? Should it be business owned or mixed use?
Well, I happen to be the representative for Abington on the Southfield Redevelopment Authority, our representative for the air base. So I do have a little insight over there. First of all, we've brought in what I consider a top-notch developer in New England Development and Brookfield Properties. They've joined together. Outstanding group of people. I think they are the only developers that will be able to get this project done. To be brief, one of the issues over there is when L-Star went under, there were multiple parcels and multiple different entities. And what we've done in the last few years is gain control of all of those parcels again. So it's all under one umbrella. We've almost done that with the majority, just about all of the property. 3 of the properties that were separately owned by someone else just went to auction in I think it was last Sunday night was the deadline, and they went under agreement. I don't know who the buyer is, it's not public yet. But Abington owns around 75 acres of land over there. What I would like to see is as much commercial development as possible, which I think everyone wants to see. But the goal over there, as far as I'm concerned for Abington, is to develop, to produce the greatest amount of tax benefit to the town that we can get. The base is going to have the one entrance, where the two entrances where they are now on Route 18. As you drive in the entrance by Uncle Charlie's and look to the right, that's where Abington's 75 acres are. It's a perfect, area to develop, and I think I would like to see as much commercial development, and I think the developers would too over there. There's been just about all the development now has been in Weymouth, in the start and stop development thus far. But I think we'll be happy with what goes on over there. We did the zoning change last year, and they're on the way. But the big thing that has to happen over there is the developer needs to solve the water, sewer, and traffic problems, and they're working on that now with the state.
Okay. Staying with you, mentioned Route 18 in your answer. Let's talk about inviting national change. Is that something that Abington officials should be seeking? Is larger national chains to come in, set up shop, and help put more money on the tax rolls?
Yes, and I have a few topics that this will encompass, if you can bear with me.
Sure.
One of the things we're seeing is we've had a lot of things we need to do, a lot of capital improvements, and a lot of things that are raising the taxes in town. Again, which is really, really hurting a lot of our residents. I'm one that would like to see our commercial development built to the point where we can finally do a split tax rate and give the residential homeowners some relief. So by doing a development, say if we develop Route 123, Route 18 specifically, attract national chains, good tax-paying businesses, I'm all for that. And I think we need to do that.
How about as far as Weymouth did something in regards to zoning when it comes to multi-story buildings? Should we do the same thing? Do we know if it is zoned for multi-story buildings here in Abington?
Well, I don't think we have the what they call the mixed-use buildings now. Okay. And I'll be honest, I've been in the real estate business since I was 22. I'm personally, and I live in Abington. I've been here since I was 4. I'm not for the 5, 6 story buildings that they're building in Weymouth. I think we have a 35-foot height. That's 3 floors. I think that's perfect. I'd like to see more mixed-use properties built on Route 18. I'm for that. I'm not for the high-rises, to be honest with you. I'm just not interested in that.
Another topic for conversation at town meeting was the new multifamily zoning district. This was as a result of the MBTA communities law that was put into place in 2021. It passed. What's your thought on that plan? Do you support it, or did you have concerns? Or do you have concerns?
I don't have concerns. First of all, the planning board did a great job. They've worked on that, I think, a couple of years now.
Yes.
They've done quite a bit of work. So that is a state mandate. So we have to do it rather than be in litigation for years. There's already a couple of developments in the pipe over there. The over 55 behind the senior center, the 40B beside the train station, and then there's the other apartment complex across from the sewer department. I think it's the perfect spot for it. And I think the planning board, again, did a great job. I think that the people were right in supporting it and approving it. So we've fulfilled our obligation to the state. It's transit-oriented, which was mentioned the other night, but the planning board had already started a transit-oriented zoning district. So they were kind of ahead of it before the state was even, throwing mandates around. So yes, I do support that, and I think it's a great plan.
Okay. South Shore Votech Superintendent Director Tom Hickey was recently before the Board of Selectmen, talking with them about building a new school, showing all the plans and everything. Knowing that Abington is one of 9 communities that are a part of that vocational high school, what are your thoughts in regards to the endeavor that the taxpayers footing the bill for a portion of that building?
Well, we're obligated to, first thing. But I want to see what our enrollment is, and what is that addition? Is it going to increase our enrollment? We're talking a significant cost to the town. I haven't seen the numbers, but I think they're talking $20 million, something around there. don't.
And this is post MSBA, right? Mass School Building Authority, right? So do we have an idea as to the percentage? Because I know that has dropped over the years because everybody wants their new building or they want to be retrofit their schools for any deficiencies they may have.
My understanding is the percentage they pay for vocational schools isn't the same as what they pay for, like we were lucky enough to get for our high school, middle school.
Right.
So back to, for the vocational part, I think vocational education is imperative. From everything I read, from people I talk to in the trades, it's dropping the kids in the trades. And I think it's important to push the vocational education. This is going to sound funny, but I would have went to Votech if they had a football team back when I was in high school in the late 70s and graduated in 81. The only reason I didn't go to Votech to become an electrician is because they didn't have a football team, which is ridiculous now at 60 thinking that's why you didn't go to that school. But they're great. It's a rounded education there. It's a great education. I think we need to push for it, but we need to see what's the benefit to the town of Abington, i.e. the cost, and we need to see how many more kids we're going to be able to put into the school. But vocational education's very important.
Okay. Staying with education schools, there have been talks about needing a new school to replace the Beaverbrook Elementary School. Do you think this is something that's on the horizon? And can the town afford this project, or should it wait?
Well, I hear the same rumblings that you do, that we need another elementary school. I went to the Woodsdale, which is up on Chestnut Street, and let's see, so I went there when I was 6, so that was 1969. Jesus, that was a while ago. So I think the school is fairly, 50s, around there, 60. But, you know, that school needs to be refurbished, as far as I'm concerned. So, yes, my understanding is we need a new elementary school. I think we need to, one of the things we need to do is we need to sit down with everybody, meaning all the departments, all the different groups, and we need to come up with a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25-year capital plan.
Strategic plan.
Strategic plan that maybe we take it to town meeting and vote it. Now, obviously, it's going to change. You know, it's going to be worked on and adjusted. But we can't, you know, we're building a fire station and a DPW, which we sorely needed. I'm on that building committee. We need to come in on budget for the taxpayers. But that hasn't hit the taxes yet. That's going to hit the taxes in a couple of years. I think some people think that the increase we got with our bill for February 1st that just went by had that, the increase was that, and it wasn't. So we really need to sit down and face what the capital needs, these big capital expenditures that are on the horizon, what it's going to cost us, and do we need to come up with a more strategic plan over time? Because there's normal costs that come up every year. We voted a fire engine, which was I think a great move by the fire chief. It's not going to be here for 3 or 4 years.
Right, they got to build it.
They have to build it, and you have to be in the pipeline to get it. So I think it made sense to do it now, knowing we're not going to get it for 3 or 4 years, but we're certainly going to need it in a couple. So those things are always coming up, police cars, highway equipment. But I think we need to come up with a strategic plan. What ends up happening, and it goes back to what I was saying about being reactionary, we're almost like, oh, we're going to build that. Yeah, now we need to build that. Now we need it. Well, let's come up with a plan so everybody knows what we're doing. Everybody has the input. Put it out at town meeting and say, even if it's a sense of the meeting, put it out there so people get to debate it. Say, yes, we think we should do this now, but maybe we should wait that for 5 more years or 10 years. So, yes, we need another school. We just need to figure out when we're going to fit it into doing it.
In your opinion, what is the town's biggest need or known issue, and what should town officials do to address it?
Personally, from what I'm hearing, and I'm a guy that's in town every day working and living, the biggest thing that's going on now is the taxes. That's the thing I'm hearing from everybody. People are concerned now about the trash, but the way our taxes are going up is, to me, becoming the biggest issue. And another thing I'm hearing is people don't know what's going on. So, i.e., back to, you know, getting the word out there. And it's more than just throwing a couple of blurbs on Facebook. I think we need to be more proactive. Water's working on the PFAS, $26 million. The average person doesn't know we're even doing that. I think we need to get, we as the board, as the, elected leaders of the town, we need to get those things out there to the people. And a little blurb by somebody on Facebook doesn't do it. People need to know what's going on. I think they need to know what's going on from the Board of Selectmen, personally. I think the board even though our role is limited, and I'm not talking about getting involved in the water business or the sewer business or this business. What I'm talking about is getting the information out to the people. What you want to get more people going to town meeting? You want to get more people to vote? Let them know what's going on, because I think what's happened, and it happened to me for a time period, I was on the board 30 years ago for 6 years, is you're just like, oh, I'm living my life, I'm doing my thing, I'm busy, and then all of a sudden things go a certain way that aren't favorable, and then you're like, wow, we got to start to get involved. I guess maybe in a way that's part of what prompted me to decide I should step back up and not talk about things that should be done, step up and put my neck on the chopping block to do it.
Abington is best known for its local sports and its green wave pride. What else do you think the town is flush with pride over?
Well, I think one of the things that Abington, obviously Jim Kelleher, I played for Jim Kelleher, so the football team's great. I think the biggest thing Abington has, when there's a tragedy or someone's in need, everybody in Abington steps up. Everybody steps up and does what they have to do to help that person, that family, that group. And I think one of the things I'd like to see happen is a little more of that when there isn't a tragedy, when there isn't somebody in need. That's what I'd like to see. Now, I have people I don't like, I have people that don't like me, but I know when somebody needs something, we're all together to do whatever we need to do to help the town or help the family. I think we need to kind of try to get back on that track. And it sounds funny, as again, I said to you earlier, when I'm 29, you have one set of thoughts. When you're 60, my daughter's a couple of years away from going to kindergarten in Abington, you have other thoughts. And one of those things is we just seemed over the last bunch of years, not even on a national level, not only a national, but right down to, Bedford Street in Abington or Washington Street in Abington, kind of going away from each other. And we come right back in a time of need. And I'm kind of wishing we could get back to working together to make the town a little better. So hopefully we can do that.
I like to call one of my final questions, it's the blank check question. It basically, I'm giving you a blank check and letting you fill in an amount. Basically, the analogy is that I'm going to ask you a topic or an issue that you and I have not talked about that you could take a moment to discuss right here. The topic and what you feel could be the resolution or what you'd like to see done.
Well, I think part of it was to my answer. I just started to, I know I kind of wander when I answer you, but I think one of the things we need to do is we've got to use the Board of Selectmen as an example. We have a strong town government, a strong town manager form of government, and we have a board that's made up of a mix of people with skill sets. I'd like to see us pushing more to get more people involved in town government on the boards. I'd like to see more people become interested and want to go to town meeting, participate, more people to vote. And I think Abington is a great town, but I think we have a lot of, as all towns do coming up, I think we're going to have a lot of financial issues coming up that we need to deal with. And I think we really need people to get involved in what's going on. Now, I don't mean, some people are lucky enough that whatever the taxes are, they can pay. But most of the people can't. And people have been here, and I'd like people to be able to stay here if they want to. And I think we really need to come up, with a transparent plan for everybody to look at and say, I agree with that, debate it, adjust it. And I think we need to be more proactive as a Board of Selectmen out there with the people, letting them know what's going on, and we need to lead.
Finally, if folks want to find out more about your campaign, how can they do that? Is there a simple way?
There's a simple way. Anybody can call me anytime they want. My office is right down at the corner at the entrance to the high school town hall road. I have a page, Roger Woods for Selectmen at gmail.com. You can call me. My number's out there, 508-889-3376. I'm out there every day anyway. I'm available. Anybody can call me, contact me, stop by. I'll come meet with you if you want. But I'll give you whatever the question you ask me, I'm going to give you an answer.
Well, Roger, I want to thank you very much for coming in and sitting down and talking about some of the issues and your candidacy for selectmen. So wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate first you having this and ABCAM for hosting.
We want to thank you for tuning into programs like this. The idea is to keep you better informed and educated on anything that's going on in the community, but these series of interviews that you'll be seeing over the next few weeks, right up until, I believe, April 27th, which is a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
That's when you want to get out and vote. If you don't know in regards to if you're eligible to vote, where you're voting, how to vote, any of that information, a fantastic town clerk's office, give them a call, and I'm sure they'll be able to fill you in. Until our next conversation, have a great day.